Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Am I audible? Sorry, can someone just confirm that I am audible?
Yes, you are, but you must unmute.
Yes, we are hearing, Mohamed Shehzad.
Okay. Okay, all right. Yeah. Thank you, firstly, for this opportunity. And I will go straight into the presentation. Okay, thank you again for allowing me to speak at this esteemed forum. The topic that has been given to me is tools to improve food security. So just a bit of clarification. My name is Mohamed Shehzad. I am from ATIS, which is a global crowdfunding platform, but I am speaking today in my personal capacity, not in my professional capacity. So firstly, to examine the issue of food security, we need to understand what is meant by food security. Right? According to the 1996 World Food Summit definition, food security is defined as the state in which people at all times have physical, social, and economic access to sufficient and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs for a healthy and active life. According to the World Bank, there are four main dimensions to the food security issue. I will not read through this whole definition. Rather, I'll just give the main subtext of it. So physical availability of food, economic and physical access to food is the second dimension. Food utilization is the third dimension. And stability of being able to access the other or the first three dimensions over time is the fourth dimension. Now, perhaps for Muslims, it might be important to add another consideration to the issue of sufficiency in terms of energy and nutrient intake, which is the requirement for halalan thayyiban. This is taken off the Global Food Security Index 2022. We can see which are seen as the most food secure nations and who are the least secure nations in terms of food security. This is a snapshot by region. We can see that the North American region is the most food secure, and while every other region is above the global average, the situation at the sub-Saharan African region is less than desired. It is also evident that there is no food security for a number of people at different levels, for different durations, for a number of reasons, right? So here, this is basically campaigns that are run in terms of providing either food directly, food pack, or raising charities to overcome situations of food inavailability or insufficiency. What I'd like to just bring to attention is this is something that affects not only nations which are at war or suffering from some disasters or emergency situations. It also affects seemingly secure nations. Like, for example, here, Finland, which is seen as number one in the food security index. There are also certain situations that changes their situation, right? So energy crisis is affecting them. In Singapore, the coronavirus led to food charities appeal rising as demand for the needy increases. Now, in terms of tools to improve food security, I would like to propose an ecosystem approach, looking at it from the physical, economic / financial, supply chain / trade, educational, as well as technological perspectives. Now, physical actually refers to the use or availability of land and infrastructure, as well as inputs depending on the type of food produced. So for example, if you're doing grains farming, then seeds, fertilizer, water, etc. becomes important. If you're doing animal farming, for example, broiler chicken farm, then actual chicks itself, the feed, nutrients, and so on becomes important. Tools like machineries, accessibility also becomes important. In terms of economic and financial resources, these include governmental subsidies, grants, loans, as well as takaful coverage for the loans or the economic or the financial activity that's undertaken. In terms of supply chain and trade, network access, transportation channels, energy cost, and the situation with regards to embargoes or trade sanctions, as well as trade barriers, are important considerations. From the educational perspective, it can be divided into three main segments: the grower or the people involved in the farming or agricultural activities, the consumers who are the recipient of food that is being distributed, as well as the enablers. So this can be governmental or even associations. The last perspective that we consider is from the perspective of R&D, alternative food, as well as new models. And new models here refer not only to farming and agricultural methods, but also new models for distribution, delivery, as well as financing. Now, example of tools to better food security or to improve food security. And this is something that has been spoken, I guess, at many forums for many years, I guess, by different people, right? So use of Wakaf land for agriculture, this is something that we can look into seriously. Of course, it is not just the issue of land availability. There are also attendant issues such as how to rejuvenate dormant land. So that requires financial resources, technology resources, and so on. We can also look into the public-private partnership models. Now, in terms of economic and financial tools to improve food security, as I mentioned earlier, as a disclaimer, I am actually from a crowdfunding platform. So this is a new way to actually approach finance availability, right? There are also funds out there that's increasingly focused on agriculture or agri-tech sector. There's also the Crowd Takaful initiative that's gaining momentum. In terms of supply chain and trade, I'd like to bring attention, and this is, I think, the easiest way. There are platforms out there, for example, fsx.ai, which is trying to improve the supply chain perspective or the supply chain angle insofar as food security is concerned, right? For the educational angle, there are universities, there are schools out there that's looking at a more holistic picture. So I think it's fairly new in terms of having content or curriculum that includes food security from the Wakaf perspective, and this is done somewhere in Indonesia. This is another company that provides the tools from the technological perspective. So State Sepakat is a Malaysian company that provides agriculture technology as a service. Aggregate, so Agri-G8 is pronounced aggregate. Aggregate is a Singapore-based company that provides a decisioning or screening platform to allow for institutional lenders to invest in climate resilient farming. They basically adopt the tools to enable financing to be given by institutions by combining certain data via AI and machine learning to make it cover angles which are risk factors which may not have been considered before. So yeah, my final slide is basically food security is getting attention. The question is for who and from whom. As you can see, agri-tech investments in the MENA region, this is a slide taken from WAMDA. In 2014 to 2017, there are only a small number of companies getting funded. But in 2019 and 2020, we can see a big jump in the number of companies or startups getting funded. With that, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Evet, Muhammed